Alright, here's one for you. If you see a service dog approaching you without its owner, don't ignore it. So, what would you do if a dog wearing some sort of vest randomly approached you without an owner in sight? A. Well duh, pet it, give it tricks, belly rubs, tell him he's a good boy, compliment his cute little vest, the whole 9 yards. B. Call animal control. Dog just can't be roaming around without an owner. Sorry, but the law's the law. Or C. Just ignore it. Not my problem or concern. Well, if you chose any of those options, I think today's video will certainly teach you a thing or two when it comes to service dogs. These sorts of dogs are totally misunderstood and underestimated. No, they're not just pets for disabled people. They don't want your belly rubs or treats, and you absolutely should not ignore one if one approaches you without its owner around. Now let's see what you really should do in this situation. But first, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give that notification bell a ring so you'll always be the first to see all our daily updates. First things first. You should probably learn what a service dog actually is so you'll know when one's approaching you. Differentiating a service dog from a pet can be surprisingly difficult because, get ready for this, not all of them wear vests. The Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, puts it like this: a service dog is any dog that is individually trained to do work or perform tasks for the benefit of an individual with a disability. Let's break that down, shall we? Any dog means it can be any breed of dog. Individually trained to do work means that not all service dogs are the same. They're trained to do specific tasks depending on their particular job or function, and they come in lots of different types. There are service dogs for visual, medical, and seizure assistance, as well as hearing dogs and diabetic alert dogs, just to name a few. For the benefit of an individual with a disability means the handler or the owner must have a physical or mental impairment to legally have one. Oh, and one last thing. A service animal can be a pig, bird, or even a horse. Alright, now what if a service dog approaches you without its owner? Again, it's not asking for treats, belly rubs, or baby talk. And it's not just some stray that needs to be reported to animal control. This special dog wants your undivided attention because its handler needs help. It might be an emergency situation in which its owner needs human assistance that the dog can't provide. Normally, a service dog and its owner are an inseparable team. You can't have one without the other. But some service dogs are trained to go get help once their owner is in grave danger. This is what happened to an epileptic woman named Tessa, who shared her unfortunate story on Tumblr. She wrote about how one day she tripped and fell, and her service dog mistook this fall for an epileptic seizure. The dog, doing what it was trained to do, immediately went for help. It approached a nearby woman who was just utterly annoyed by the dog and even shooed it away. Tessa felt the need to share her story to inform the uninformed on what a serious situation this is and what we should do if it ever happens to us. Just take it from her. If a service dog without a person approaches you, it means the person is down and in need of help. Good Samaritan Melissa Hope read Tessa's post on Tumblr and decided to spread the word on Twitter in a post called Service Dog PSA that ended up going viral. So that just goes to show you we can all do our part in getting extremely important messages like this out there. But what if a service dog is with its owner? Are the rules a little more relaxed? Nope, not at all. That dog is still on the job, and by no means should you approach, touch, or distract it. Yeah, I know, they're irresistibly cute. Even if they're just quietly sitting next to their owner, dogs are certified attention magnets. There's just something about those big puppy eyes that hypnotize you into reaching out your hand and giving that pooch a good scratch behind the ears. But you must resist that temptation. Hey, it's not me spoiling all the fun here. The law mandates that you never ever interact with a service dog while they're with their owners. Like I said, these dogs have a job to do. They're on the clock. They don't need you disturbing them during working hours, and the law totally agrees. So that means don't pet them, don't feed them, don't talk to them, make cooing sounds, or ask them to do tricks. Don't pat your thighs, whistle, or clap your hands to get their attention. Don't stare at them. Don't make eye contact with them. Don't take selfies or pictures with them. Don't get in their way. Give the animal space so it can do its job right. Don't bark at them. Oh, come on now, admit it. You do this with your own pets, especially when no one's looking. Speaking of which, if you have a pet with you, don't let them interact with each other. The service dog must stay alert and focused at all times to attend to their handler's needs. Any form of distraction puts their owner's well-being at stake, which is why the law is so strict when it comes to service dogs. If you really just can't resist the urge to pet a service animal, ask the owner first and respect whatever answer they give you. You should also let the service dog perform its job alone. This means that you must not approach or attempt to help, even if you see a dog pulling a wheelchair or giving its owner medicine. I know it's a gut reaction to rush over and offer a helping hand to someone in need, but if they've got a service dog with them, you've got to let them be. This dog has been very well trained since the tender age of 6 months to do this job. So don't worry. This animal is literally an expert when it comes to serving its owner and responding to their needs. Besides, your impulsive action may cause anxiety in the animal or in its owner. Remember that some disabilities are psychological in nature. Plus, if a service dog needs human assistance, it'll come to you. So what about talking to service dog handlers? Well, the short answer to that is treat the owner the same way you treat anyone else. Yes, they have a service dog. Yes, it means they have a disability. But that doesn't mean they're not a human being that deserves common courtesy. That basically means respect their privacy. Just put yourself in their shoes for a second. How would you feel if some complete stranger was asking you questions about your personal medical history or condition? You'd probably feel uncomfortable and a bit irritated because it's clearly not anyone's business. Talk to them like any other individual, and don't violate their privacy, especially when it comes to the details of their disability and their service dog. Plus, it's considered illegal under federal law. Now that we've covered all the rules regarding your behavior around a service dog, whether it alone approaches you or with its owner, let's talk about where you might come across this situation. So basically, where are service dogs allowed? Remember that the service dog and its owner are an inseparable team protected by the Americans with Disabilities Act. This federal law states that service animals are allowed in places that the general public uses as long as they're accompanied by their handler. These places include parks, restaurants, shops, and even public transportation. You know, the whole can't have one without the other thing we touched on earlier. Of course, public places that are more often than not filled with people can be overwhelming for service animals. Despite its rigorous training, its surroundings can crack a service dog's cool, calm, and collected demeanor. If a service dog is perhaps being naughty or too playful, just tell the owner, and they'll correct the animal's behavior. Federal law mandates that it's the handler's responsibility alone to keep their animal in check, not yours. Yes, a service animal can be denied access to a facility if its behavior causes a public disturbance. As for public transport, a service dog can stand beside its owner or sit on their lap, unless it's a big animal, of course. In that case, it can sit beside them. It's also against the law to charge an animal a fee to use public transit. Service animals are allowed in schools, hotels, and airlines as well. These types of places usually have strict rules concerning pets. But you know by now that service animals are not pets, and their handler requires their presence at all times. Service dogs are totally exempt from breed bans in certain cities or municipalities. And just like with public transportation, it is a federal crime to charge extra for a service dog to be granted access to a hotel or airplane. However, they're not allowed to be left in a hotel room alone, which makes total sense. And according to the Air Carrier Access Act, airlines also have to permit access to a service animal, but not if it's too large or heavy to be accommodated, prohibited to enter another country, or can pose danger to other individuals. As for schools, a service animal can accompany its handler, but not in areas reserved for those who are allergic to dogs. So let's say you're a business owner, or perhaps you're just downright curious. Is it okay to ask someone for some legal documentation proving that their service dog is legit? Well, the short answer is no, it's not. Under federal law, this is not allowed and the owner is not obligated to do so. The only exception here is for airlines, which can ask for legal documentation or a medical certificate indicating the owner really needs a service dog. But in general, the ADA does not require service animals to wear a vest, ID tag, or specific collar, and it doesn't require any documentation to certify the dog is a service animal. However, according to the ADA's website, you may politely ask a handler these two questions and nothing else. Is the dog a service animal required because of a disability? What work or task has the dog been trained to perform? That's it, only those two. No follow-up questions, please and thank you. Now hopefully this video has shed some light on how truly important these dogs are and what you can and cannot do when it comes to service dog etiquette and, well, the federal law. Please share this video with everyone you know so we can get the message out there. And if you've learned anything new today, go ahead and give this video a like and let us know down in the comments what brand spanking new knowledge you've gained. For more enlightening and informative videos like this, subscribe and join us on the bright side of life.